Hello and welcome to Critical Penetrator. Today we're going to be taking a look at all of the statistics for the ships you can build from the Bioficers battlecruiser box. This is a new plastic kit from TT Combat and it's only come out very recently. Just as a caveat before we start getting into all of our triangle madness, Dropfleet Commander is complicated as all hell, and I cannot possibly tell you every single permutation that can happen with all of these ships and potential synergies within the fleet, because that would take quite a long time. If you want to see videos like that, let me know in the comments below. I don't mind making hour-long videos, hour-and-a-half-long videos about very detailed statistics. However, I do quite like making these just short, vibey bits about the new ships that have come out. If you enjoy my content and you like my videos, please consider subscribing and also like the video because that helps me out quite a lot. And I do just like seeing people engaging with the video. It makes me feel like it's worth my time and effort to do. So without further ado, we're going to look at the one and only super cruiser for the Bioficers. Hello, Editing Penetrator here. Just wanted to say that I have, during the editing of this video, received an affiliate link for use with Hobby House, a wargaming and tabletop gaming shop based in Southampton. Anything you purchase from there, I'll get a little bit kickback, and that helps me to be able to buy things for the channel. So yeah, thank you very much for them. I'm going to have that going forward now. So every single video you see, I'll have the affiliate link, and it's also connected to my channel. Thank you very much, and on with the rest of the video. Okay, then the Bioficers Singular Super Cruiser. I quite like this guy, and I think that he is going to see some play on the table quite a lot when the Bioficers players start getting their hands on these battle cruiser boxes. 152 points. He is not amazing stats-wise defensively, so 11 hull, 4+ for energy and kinetic saves with a backup of 5+. The backup of 5+ is nice, but he probably needs that because the hull is so low for a ship which is starting to touch on battlecruiser territory. His weapon is very good. It is 5 attack dice with a lock of 2+, 3 damage, close action, so it can only be used within his 10-inch scan. It has a bloom of 1, which means that when you shoot the weapon, you're going to take a spike. Not so good. It's focused, which means it's got some upsides and downsides. Focused is that you are going to be ignoring the fact that they have any escorts, so they can't plink damage away off onto the escorts. However, damage that you cause can only be allocated to the target ship that you shoot at. So if you're shooting at things which are in a group, that damage can't spill over. However, Scald 1, 3 damage kinetic, 5 dice you're chucking at it. It's a good amount of damage. If all of those go through, you're killing stuff. So yeah, he's actually a very powerful, very good weapon. His signature is very low, so you're not going to be able to be seen easily by much things, and you potentially have the threat range to be able to stay out of range of whatever might want to threaten you, and then make that 17-inch or shorter, push forward, shoot it out with a general quarters, bosh bosh, and just absolutely annihilate something. So yeah, very cool ship, very deadly, kinetic as well. So yeah, for me as a PHR player, this thing could quite easily just chew up a lot of my cruisers and the like. Torpedoes we need to touch on because the torpedoes are very, very good for the Bioficers. And the reason why they're good isn't because of the amount of damage that they will do. It's the fact that they have Corruptor. If you do damage with a torpedo, it has Corruptor 2, you're going to be putting 2 battalions onto that ship or space station or whatever. However, their torpedoes don't stay around. So anything within 12 inches of this ship, you plop out a torpedo or 2, immediately smash in the asset phase into that vessel, and you're going to be doing, hopefully, at least 1 point of damage. And you do have a good chance to do that because kinetic, 3 attacks and a 2+ lock. So, you're hoping that they will be making 3 saves against this. And depending on how good their kinetic save is, they're going to end up with some battalions slapped onto them. Battalions aren't easy to remove. You need Marines and backup saves to get rid of battalions. So if you can put these on the right ships that don't have backup saves or don't have Marines, then they can just effectively start destroying the ship from the inside and be a real pain in the bum for your opponent. So yeah, this guy can cause a real nuisance. He also is a feature carrier, which is generally a good thing. If you don't know anything about the features, I will be making a video about them very shortly. I'm just waiting for the Resistance battlecruiser box to come out, which will be roughly about 4 weeks, I think. I don't actually know that. I'm just guessing that off the past releases that have come out for the game. But just to take away from this, without touching on them too much and making the video too long, I want to keep it focused on the ships. A feature carrier is generally a good thing. It can help you to capture drop sites, and it will usually have something good additionally that will be a pain or a nuisance for your opponent to have to deal with. So yeah, Sleuth, good ship. I think good ship. If you play Bioficers, that's your main faction, and you don't like this ship, please tell me why in the comments below. If you play Bioficers and you do really like this ship, please also tell me in the comments down below how you plan to use this within your fleet and how you plan to fit this into your fleet that you currently use or currently have. I would be also interested to hear from anyone who likes to play competitively, which isn't something that I would normally ask about, but I'm kind of interested in the Bioficers because, as you'll see through the rest of this video, they don't have a tremendous amount of rules and bits and bobs attached to these ships. I think the main mental load from playing the Bioficers is the fact that you're front and front narrow for quite a substantial amount of the weaponry that you have access to. And so, you know, if you have a ton of bits and bobs and rules that you have to remember, along with the fact that you have the cells that you have to plonk about everywhere, I think that would become really difficult to play as them if they're not already difficult anyway. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below, Bioficers player or players. There's definitely not just one. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. Straight into the battle cruisers now then, with the Scion, 150 points. He has this similarly very tiny signature. He only gets one more hull, which is concerning for me because, yeah, I play as the PHR. So just to have 12 hull on a battle cruiser, I'd be like, oh my god, this is quite small. Vanguard 6, so he has the ability to start on the table regardless of what approach type that you have. He has the same weapon, the Hyperlight Vice. 5 attacks, 2+ lock, 3 damage, and with all of the bits we just spoke about a second ago with the Sluice. Now, this guy is interesting to me. I don't know what his place is. Now the Sluice is there for 2 points more and is medium. Would you spend your heavy allowance on a Scion? I don't know if you would. Just here as a little treat, we're going to have a look at the Atom, who is a famous admiral, level 2, is also piloting a Scion. However, he gets some little bits and bobs that the other guy doesn't. He's 195 points, so he's 45 points more than the Scion. Now, we have to think about this, I think, in comparison to the Sluice, because I do think the Sluice is just that good, considering it has the same weaponry and carries a feature. Now, the Atom doesn't carry a feature. He's a famous admiral. He only has 12 hull and the same saves, and he does also have that Vanguard 6, the same as the Scion, because that's what he's flying. However, he has a God Ray Light Vice, and that has 2 different firing modes. Alt 1 means you cannot fire both of these in the same activation. You must choose which one you're going to fire. And they broadly have the same abilities as the previous Light Vice did, apart from the bombardment version. So one's anti-ship and one is bombardment. The bombardment version just has bombardment. Doesn't really sound very exciting. However, he does have the God Ray Light Vice. This weapon's bombardment profile may target drop sites within scan range as if it did not have the close action special rule. So if you remember close action, you must be targeting things on the same orbital layer. He obviously does not want to be in atmosphere. So if either of this weapon's profiles target a drop site containing a friendly Bioficer deployable feature, friendly battalions assigned to that feature ignore collateral damage due to this weapon. So you can just and this is going to be a running theme that's going to be going through the rest of these, or some of these next ships, you could just shoot the drop site your guys are on, and your troops ignore that damage. I don't know why you'd want to do that. I haven't explored that in any games I've played, because obviously this is still fairly new ships, and also there's only one Bioficers player at the local club, and he's only just started playing. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to understand why or what on earth you want to be doing with this. If you know already, please let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to be able to know. And his ability, so remember he is a level 2 admiral. Vice lightly. When you assign targets to a weapon with a light vice in its name, that weapon ignores the focused rule for the attack. So you remember, focused means that you can only do damage to the ship that you are targeting, and it doesn't spread through the group. This means for one action point that you can spread that damage through the group. So this damage 3 weapon then becomes really nasty against frigates, groups of frigates, some light ships, which it will just absolutely tear through. So yeah, it adds more utility to the ship. Do you want that for 195 points? Not sure that you do. If you think about the Shaltari video, which I'll link in the comments below, 195 points was how much Seth cost, which was the Impel gravity shenanigans banana. So yeah, 195 points for this guy. Is he as good as Seth? No. In my opinion, no. However, I'm very well could be wrong, and this might be the almighty beast of a ship. I just don't feel like he is. So yeah, if you're a Bioficers player and you've used this guy, let me know. If he's rubbish, also let me know, because yeah, I'll let the Bioficers player locally know not to build and make him. So on to the next ship then. Battlecruiser, the Sanctum, 185 points. I'm glad I can actually read these names as opposed to the Shaltari ones. And this guy is not doing a fat lot apart from getting on the board early and pumping out some fighters and bombers. His attacks are, yeah, whatever, you know, Deacon Blast, okay, fine. But the fighters and bombers he can put out, are they brilliant? No, not really either. However, just like with the Shaltari video when we spoke about them getting launch on the table early, I think that is exactly what this guy's trying to do. So if you're trying to make a launch list with perhaps some teleporting bombers for the Bioficers, this guy is probably going to be one of the ones on your list to put into your list. Next ship, the Stature, 140 points. This guy is quite cheap, and I think he is the analog to the Pompeius from the PHR. Front narrow weapon, 140 points, 12 dice, which is massive, a lock of 3+, and Reeve 1, and he can start on the table despite the approach type. So Reeve, each of your criticals are going to be reducing the save of the opponent by 1 for that particular dice. So yeah, you've got the chance here to do quite an extremely large amount of hits with potentially -1 to the energy saves of the opponent there. I don't know if this guy's fantastic or not. I think that he is cool. I love the look of the ship. It just looks fantastic, like that thing. Imagine if this was to have some sort of energy glow in the center or something like that. I just think the painting for these guys could be really fantastic. So yeah, leave me a little note down in the comments below about the Stature. Okay, so we come to the second ship, which, and we'll see another one of these as well later on. This is one of the ones which was like, wow, okay, we're, you know, talking the big boys here. So the Source, 190 points. So you can see we've jumped up a little bit in points here. He is coming with the same scan, the same signature, the same hull, the same saves. He does also still have Vanguard, so he can have the ability to start on the board regardless of the approach type. He has, as his main weapon, the bombardment spine, and this is the main draw for the ship. It is front, side, and rear, so 360-degree arc and line of sight here. Or arc, sorry, not line of sight. Attacks 9, a lock of 5+, but we'll address that in a second. A damage of 2, energy type, Alt 1, and bombardment. And you might be thinking, Alt 1, there's no other weapons. Well, the Alt here is on his drop pods. So he can either fire his bombardment spine or launch his drop pods. He also has separately boarding pods, which I mean, if you know about Corruptor, you don't want to have things on your ship or boarding pods. They can land things onto your ships. So yeah, we don't want that if we're playing against them, but we certainly do want that if we're playing as the Bioficers. And then just as some little bits of spicy rules that really do make him come alive here. High velocity boarding pods. This ship's boarding pods may be used against targets up to 6 inches away. Great. This is fantastic because this guy wants to go and fight around drop sites, and we'll speak about that just a little bit more in a second. But 6 inches away is fantastic. And bombardment spine. This weapon gains Corruptor 2 special rule while on weapons free. So at the cost of 2 spikes, you gain Corruptor 2 on your bombardment weapon. So just to put this into complete clarity, Corruptor, when you successfully inflict damage, place X battalions, in this case 2, onto the target. So you're bombarding a drop site, do some damage, which you've got 9 attacks, and bombardment, when you're bombarding a city, adds +2 to your lock, so it's going to be on 3 pluses. Each one of them is 2 damage. Any single failed save will trigger the Corruptor and add 2 battalions to that drop site. This is crazy. And I think this is where the sort of weird synergy comes in with the Atom, because the Atom can bombard and not kill the or ignore the collateral damage, sorry, the battalions you already have down on the drop site. So this is just a crazy ship to me. I think it's really cool, a good bit of utility. It's criminal. I mean, effectively, what's happening, if you think about this from like an in-universe perspective, this ship is appearing above a city and firing bombs with like biological beasts inside into a city. It's just a really terrifying concept, and I absolutely love it. So yeah, fantastic addition to the game. This really enjoy him, and yeah, so we're going to now go on to the syntax. So we're going to the pocket battleships now. 175 points. Hull of 14, woo, we've gained a little bit more survivability, and we are basically looking at a ship which is very similar to the Stature, which I'm not sure if this is really a brilliant upgrade. However, he is a feature carrier now, and so this adds value to him almost immediately, I think, because apart from the sluice, we haven't really seen anything else which carried a feature. So yeah, feature carrier, 175 points. If you're thinking about this as the fact that the other ship with the Deacon Annihilator on there was 140 points, so for 35 points we've added the ability to carry a feature and gained a hull. So I think this guy is just straight up better than the Stature, just purely from the fact that's the case. Yes, the Stature can start on the board. That's really the only thing that's selling that to me. And this guy carrying a feature, he's got extra weaponry, he's got extra hull. He's just better. I'd rather pay that 35 points and have the feature carry and the extra weapons. So yeah, syntax, I like him. As I said before, I just like the look of the ships. I love that weapon at the front there. I think it's a very cool profile. So yeah, moving straight on then to the synthesis. So this guy is a launch and feature carrier. He's not really doing sod all else though, unfortunately. So Deacon Blast is quite a poor weapon. 4 shots, 4+ lock, 1 damage, energy, front, side, rear. So he's got full arc, but yeah, it's not really anything to write home about. However, what is something to write home about is the fact that he is a feature carrier, broadly positive, can launch 2 torpedoes and have a maximum per turn, and have a maximum of, or per activation, sorry, and have a maximum of 4. And also he can spit out 5 fighters and bombers. So you can start building up some bombers when he comes onto the table if you have any other launch stuff. You are paying 230 points for this guy. That's quite a lot of points, if I'm quite honest with you, for something that is 4 hull. There are other feature carriers, as in the ship we just looked at, and also the sluice. There are other fighter and bomber launch ships which start on the table. you know, kind of what you want really. If it's the Sanctum, isn't it? The Sanctum, which has Vanguard and starts on the table, so you can start spitting them out right from the first turn. And I think that is going to be kind of important because you don't have a tremendous amount of fighters and bombers that you can spit out. So launching them and putting them on the table from the first turn is going to be quite important. So yeah, is this guy good? I think he's okay. For 230 points though, I think he's starting to step on the toes of ships that can do what he's trying to do a little bit better, and maybe even for cheaper. Next ship then, the Sierra. 185 points. It's a Scion again, but just with more stuff. He's a feature carrier now, and has the Hyper Light Vice, and he's got 2 Deacon Blasters, which were the same weapons that we just saw stuck onto the Syntax, stuck onto this guy now as well. Does that make him worth another 35 points? Well, that's pretty much just exactly what we would have paid for the Syntax to have the feature carrier on. So the points kind of match up there. Is this guy good? I mean, kinda. 185 points is quite a lot when you've got the Sluice for 152, and the Sluice has got torpedoes. I don't know what these Deacon Blasters are really doing for you. It's extra shots, of course. It's energy, whereas the other one's kinetic, so maybe that might be important in some games. I don't know about this guy. I think maybe this guy is just competing with stuff that's cheaper and potentially better. So we're going to move on from him and talk about the Shade. So this guy is the big boy. He does all of the things that the Source did, but now he also carries a feature, and he also has torpedoes. So 225 points for this guy, and the Source was 190. So we've kind of in that same sort of 35 points more bracket just to have the feature carrier, but he's had some torpedoes attached to him as well. Um, and I really like that. I actually really like that. So I think this might be the best ship of the bunch for me personally. The bombardment spine's fantastic. I think if you're going to games and you're thinking, well, I'm going to take the secondary just to blow up stuff, I think that's pretty viable. I do like the idea that he's got drop pods, so he doesn't have to bomb stuff. He can just drop stuff if he gets there first. If you want to take the site, it's quite versatile. He's got boarding pods to be a nuisance to things like space stations or other ships, and torpedoes, so he can just put out corruptor onto things as well. It's just it all round helps out the fact that the Bioficers do have some odd ways of being able to put stuff onto drop sites, and I think this guy sort of fills in some gaps in a weird way, in a very Bioficers way. I think he's great. The fact that he's got a feature as well. Is it too much all in one package? Is it too much? I mean, he's only got 14 hull still. He's still only got a 4 plus energy and kinetic save and a 5 plus backup. However, what he does for 225 points in comparison to what we've just seen is actually pretty good. So I'm going to say this guy might be my winner along with the Sluice, to be honest with you, which are 2 completely different ends of the spectrum, but the thing they have in common is the fact that they're going to be able to help you take drop sites because, okay, the Sluice is doing it quite cheaply with 152 points, feature carrier, it's got some torpedoes, so it's going to potentially just slap some stuff on space stations and whatever, and the Shade is doing it expensively, but has bombardment, boarding pods, drop pods, the torpedoes with corruptor and a feature. So if you want a drop site, this guy is going to take the drop site, come hell or high water, regardless of whatever's on there. He's going to do what he's got to do to take that drop site. So yeah, very interesting ship. It's a very brutal way to play the game. I think that does fit their aesthetic. It does fit their lore. They're not here to fuck around. They're here to, well, fuck shit up basically. Yeah, and so I do think it fits them. Do I want to play Bioficers? I mean, the last video I made with the Shaltari made me really want to play as the Shaltari. I don't think I want to play as the Bioficers. I think they're the way they play might not be for me. I think I'd have to be way too serious about the game and play it properly if I was going to. Not that I don't play it properly, but you know what I mean. Play less meme lists and play more serious ways of actually playing the mission to have fun with them. And I think maybe might not be for me. Is that for you? Are you a Bioficers player? Have I missed something massive within this list? I don't feel like I have, but if I have, tell me please in the comments below. And yeah, if you want to see some more videos and the same type of videos as this, or perhaps something different, let me know in the comments below. Leave a like, hype this video if you're on mobile, and I will see you next time.